You just heard the Congresswoman. She says she was there to do her job, congressional oversight, and that these charges amount to political intimidation. In a statement, she also said it was ICE agents who created an unnecessary and unsafe confrontation. Do you believe that they could have unnecessarily escalated the situation, given that members of Congress have a right to be there and to go in?
Well, look, they have a right to be there for oversight, but there's a proper way to do it. Forcing your way in the facility, putting hands on an ICE officer is not the way to do it. So I think she was out of line. I've seen the videotape. I've seen 6 or 7 different videotapes that show her acting unprofessionally. These are the same people who, for 4 years, are saying President Trump wasn't above the law. Well, either is she. There's a line you can't cross, and I think she crossed it. Now, I'll leave it up to the Alina Habba, the prosecutor who's handling this case, to prove the case, but the video makes it clear to me that she wasn't being professional that day. She certainly didn't act like a member of Congress. She certainly could have requested a tour. They give tours all the time, and if she got the tour, and many people have had the tour since, they've seen a grade A facility, the highest detention standards in the industry, that puts to shame any facility, county or state, that New Jersey has. So it was. I think it was politics over public safety. That's a facility where the worst of the worst are housed. We can't lose control of that facility. But her actions cause a ruckus at that facility and makes that facility unsafe.
Did she cause the ruckus, though? Because you acknowledge that she has a right to be there. You put out, the administration put out a document back in February saying members of Congress will be allowed to go in. They said that they had to wait for hours. And I want to ask you about the word that you very carefully used, which is unprofessional. Even if you believe she was unprofessional, did you see something in that tape that suggested she was criminal? Is there a tape that we haven't seen? Because the charging documents suggest that she somehow assaulted 2 of the ICE agents there. I did not see that in that tape.
Well, I've seen tapes where she has made body contact with ICE officers and pushing them. I mean, there's a lot of tapes out there. I mean, there's numerous tapes.
In a scuffle, is it normal that people would make body contact, though, Mr. Homan?
Bottom line is, you say she has a right to do her oversight, but there's a right way to do it. Forcing yourself through officers to get in that facility is not the way to do it. We have many Congress visit our facilities. What she did was unprofessional.
Do you believe that she was a threat?
I believe she caused the facility to be unsafe. When ICE officers are being pulled off their duties to deal with a member of Congress who's forced away in the facility and puts her hands on an ICE officer is unprofessional. I think she crossed the line. Again, I'm not the prosecutor. I don't have to prove it in court, but the video I saw shows her at fault.
If she was in some way dangerous, if she caused the facility to be unsafe, why would they ultimately let her in?
They didn't allow her in. If in that moment she forced her way in, then they dealt with it from then on. Look, the ICE, and this is the same week where we're here in D.C. honoring the men and women of law enforcement who made the ultimate sacrifice. I went to Border Patrol Memorial. I went to the ICE Memorial.
I just want to clarify something you said. She did go in, Mr. Homan. She did go in.
The men and women law enforcement. The same week we honor the men and women law enforcement, she's up there putting her hands on them. So she's being held accountable, which she should be held.
But you acknowledge she did go into the facility. So why would she be let in?
Look, I don't.
If she was a danger.
Look, I wasn't there. I'm just telling you what I've learned through my sources and from the videotapes I saw, that she forced her way in the facility. There's a difference between oversight responsibility, working, arranging with ICE to go do a safe and secure tour of a facility where criminals are locked up, criminals are walking the hallways, and forcing your way in the facility. It should have been done more professionally, and I'll let the courts decide if she's in violation of law. But the videos I saw, she could have been a hell of a lot more professional on that day.
And you believe the ICE agents were professional?
I believe so. Yes.
Let me ask you about some other big picture things.